Hello, what's up, guys? It's that time of the week again where we look at one of those purchases that I've made to add to my list of collection of Marvel Legend figures. This time around, as you can see here, it's the Fantastic Four edition. First thing first is, of course, the Thing. Now I am planning to get the other team members and make up Fantastic Four, but for the time being I could really find this, and I found it, of course, from a local Toys R Us, which is always good because I hate buying anything from the secondary market. Now, for those of you who might have this already, this figure isn't particularly new. In fact, most of the figures that you see in my review isn't particularly new by any stretch of imagination, because, well, for the simple matter is we get things late here where I'm from, and I can only review what I can get my hands on. But that's not to say I can't provide any new or fresh perspective on this particular figure. Of course, like me, there are thousands, if not millions, out there, well, hopefully anyway, who will be interested in buying this figure and whether it's worth all their hard-earned money. So for that, you can never have too many reviews of figures or and whatnot, so just add to this list because it costs you nothing, and you get another perspective of another fellow enthusiast, shall we say. So on to the thing itself. I think for most of you would know, this character is particularly known for his trademark rocky appearance, as evident of his very yellowish distinct skin. He's also known to have a sort of a dry humor that comes with his appearance, I suppose, and also known for his famous battle cry, "It's clobbering time." A perfect foe for the Human Torch, who doesn't get along with his team member. Sometimes depicted as a sort of a tragic character, in a sense that he is one of those that never really accepted his shall we say appearance, simply because it's so out there. He never could really blend in with ordinary humans, and I think there was an indication that he's lost his loved one. Eventually he comes good, but for the initial part it was a struggle. Obviously, because of his distinct nature of his appearance, he's also known to have a superhuman strength, and have always been depicted as someone who can go toe to toe with the other what do you call that, muscle guys like Hulk and whatnot. So I think I was instantly attracted to him simply because he just looks the part. He offers something different into your collection. Now, for those of you who don't know, again, he comes in this particular wave, which is a builder figure for the Super Skrull. Now, I'm not particularly too keen on building a Super Skrull figure, but I have just included in the same purchase Dr. Doom. I have the Thing. I did see in the local Toys R Us they had these three, so the She-Hulk does look good, but if I don't get it, I don't mind. Like I said, I'm not planning to build a figure for a Super Skrull figure. So if I can get this, let's say 5, I'm okay with that. So with all that in mind, now, if you know me, you know for a fact that I go for that sort of distinct classic look because it fits into my collection. I want the definitive version of it. This, at least in appearance, in terms of the figure itself, the Thing has not changed much over the years. He looks this way for as long as people can remember, since his first appearance way back in the 60s, I suppose. But the one thing that will provide the distinction is the costume in which he is portrayed. Now, this particular costume is definitely not a classical one. It is, in fact, is more paying tribute to a recent comic, I believe, and also pretty obvious that Mr. Fantastic here, as you can see, has that sort of bearded look, akin to, I suppose, he looks more like a Jimmy Kimmel, Mr. Fantastic. So definitely not the distinct, what do you call that, the definitive or classical look for the Fantastic Four, but nevertheless, you know, that classical Fantastic Four was under the Marvel Legends banner, I think a couple of waves ago. I don't think for new collectors like me, you would probably find it difficult to track down that. At least, if anything, you're gonna pay over the top price for it, and obviously it's gonna come with a hefty price tag in the secondary market. I don't know whether I want to pay that much for a Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four has always been the sort of team that I know they exist. I know they form the core Marvel. I mean, it's a very distinctive Marvel team. But I suppose most people won't say that, you know, Fantastic Four will be your definitive team that Marvel that you support in the Marvel universe. So any chance I get to have a version of Marvel, Fantastic Four under the Marvel universe, I will take it. So I'm not let's say too concerned about which variation do I get, as long as they look the part and they remind me of the classical and distinctive look that I'm going for with the characters. So what else can I say about this? Now, this particular figure, as I mentioned, I got it from the local Toys R Us. But if you want to get one of these as a price reference, you can get it still available, mind you, in Big Bad Toy Store for about $23. I think pretty much most of the team goes for around that much. Yep, I can see that. And in fact, you can get the entire wave, this particular wave, which is still available, for a hefty sum of $135. So all well and good if you're from the US, but if you're from outside of the US, you know, for as well as I do, the amount of money that you have to pay into shipping, and if you can get it locally, I would suggest you do that. Okay, so I think with that I've covered pretty much everything. Let's go into the details of the figure and the box itself, and then we'll try to review it. Right guys, here you're looking at the figure straight out of the box. So let's look at the box itself. I know some of you guys are interested in how it comes with. Pretty nifty box, of course, as the usual, all the usual trademarks of a Marvel Legend box. Artwork on the sides, and then a picture of the figure itself with some indication of I suppose the figure, indication of if it comes as part of a wave, like a Build-A-Figure wave, and all the things we are not likely to read. So, and then it comes also with a sort of a backdrop of the Fantastic Four logo, which I suppose you can use it to display your figure as it is. I don't know where you can fit all four under this particular backdrop, but well, it is what it is. For the figure itself, now, as I mentioned before, I mean, he's a big guy, so there's quite a bit of heft to him in terms of the figure, as opposed to any other figure I have handled before, so which is a good thing. But I suppose he has to be what do you call that, big and with a little bit of weight, because he doesn't really come with that much of an accessory. As you can see here, there's not really anything that you can have or you can call remotely as an accessory. It does come with this two Skrull head, I suppose. I don't know whether it comes as a means to fit the head onto this thing, a body, or it comes because it forms part of the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure. Again, doesn't matter to me. I'm not planning to build a Super Skrull figure, so there's these extra heads, I suppose, is meaningless as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that's about it, guys. The figure out of the box, as you can see here, not much of an accessory that comes with the figure that you can use to display. But having said that, I mean, do we expect any accessories to come with the figure? I mean, you just have to look, like what he always does. He doesn't really come with anything. He pretty much a naked guy with a rocky body and pants to boot, I suppose, and then that's about it. He's ready to go. So I guess he's okay for what it's worth. Right, guys, so I've taken the figure out of the packaging, and as you can see here, this is the figure in all its glory. Very nice orangey textured, rocky textured body to his this particular figure. I don't necessarily see any paint flaws anywhere. I mean, I don't suppose you can have any flaws in this kind of texture. In all honesty, it looks pretty good. Even the trousers, in terms of any defects, I can't really see. Okay, maybe a smudge of blue paint that just sort of translated into the black portion of that. But I mean, this is just nitpicking, really. The belt itself is sort of a separate piece. It's not really attached to the trousers, so that's a good thing, so you can move around when you want to. But yeah, other than that, no flaws whatsoever. I assume this is how it's painted and this is how they had planned for it, so I can't really say there's anything that stands out. So overall, in terms of quality control, this is pretty good. That's not to say that you might not or you might you might not receive a defect, let's say, product, but from what I can see from mine, I think it's pretty good, and I hope for most people out there it will be good as well. So we'll look into the articulation in the next session of this video. So in terms of articulation, I think it goes without saying, for a big guy like this, it is very likely he's gonna be restrictive in terms of any form of like very dynamic poses as such. And to be honest, I don't know what dynamic poses can you do for a Thing figure, but I suppose it is still imperative to know how much of him you can actually pose. As usual, let's I mean, this has been discussed and investigated by many reviewers out there, particularly on the head. Let's say he has a 360 degrees turn. He can look down that much, he can look up that much, so decent. Actually, the joint here only allows movement for this much, but the way it's sort of fixed here allows that movement, so that's actually, it's okay. I'm okay with that. In terms of the hands, as you can see here, is not enough to move, okay, him let's say forward here, but so there's no butterfly joint or anything like that, but he can stretch up to that much. It can be rotated 360 degrees. He can stretch out that much, and he can rotate this way as well. Obviously single joints on the elbow, so that only allows you that much in terms of the bend, and in terms of the hands, again, well, enough. I think it's just a single peg that allows rotation, movement up and down, which I think it's okay. So it allows his hands to go that much and outward. Okay, not much outwards, just more inwards rather. On the torso, there is a cut just on the diaphragm area here that allows a crunch. Let's see, about that much, which is okay. And let's see, he can go stretching out backwards by that much. So if you pose his hand stretched like this, you can have a quite a big of a leaping pose, I suppose. He can turn left, he can turn right, yes, all the way around, so that's pretty good. There is a a thigh cut that allows his feet to go all the way. So yeah, cuts on the knee is double jointed, but I think since he's a big guy, has quite a lot of meat, it doesn't go all the way to his rear end, which is I suppose is okay for him. He can stretch out his leg front that much, back yeah, that's much. There's impedance there. In terms of his actual feet, he can go up that much, he can go outward that much, which is pretty good. And if no pivoting, but you can just about see the joint there, so it just allows up and down movement. Yeah, okay, there's enough pivoting there to make him stand, I suppose, in ways that you want. He can extend about that much. So yeah, pretty good, I suppose. I don't know anything else you want from them, from him rather. I think pretty much he does what he needs to do. Yeah, is okay for me. I think I'm happy with that. So before we go into the poses, let's take sort of a perspective on how this particular figure ranks in the grand scheme of things. I think pretty much I'm okay with that, with this particular figure. I think he looks the part. He does what he's supposed to do, which is basically to look like a rocky guy standing in the background. I have a funny suspicion he is going to be shorter than most of the sort of the strong guys, like the Hulks and the what do you call Colossus, Juggernaut and all that, but he more than makes up for that with sort of a what do you call a big body, a stocky body for a short guy. Overall, yes, I love the gradation of oranges here and there, the difference in oranges in terms of the accents that you provide in certain areas to make the figure look more distinct, as opposed to just painting it all orange. The rocky texture, you can just about see it is quite a rocky texture-y, as I mentioned before, so that looks the part in every sense possible. If ever I have to, let's say, nitpick on something, is I wish it comes with different sets of hands, so that maybe one-fisted hand, because at the moment he just have two-fisted hands. But if he comes with one-fisted hand and one more open hands, you could probably do a it's clobbering time, that sort of pose. But I think the older wave of this thing does come with the two variations of hands. This one rather doesn't, because I think it comes because of the builder figure, so it just comes with the two Skrull heads that I probably won't be using. Yeah, well, it is what it is. I just wanted to check one last thing, which is to see whether the Skrull head, now I don't know whether that is the intent of it or the Skrull head is just for the builder figure, but if I'm not mistaken, and now forgive me guys, but I'm not a I've lost track or I've not kept in touch with Marvel comics for a very long time, or any comics for that matter, but I believe the Skrulls are kind of shape-shifting beings, so it might be possible that they turn themselves into the Thing at some point. I don't know, I'm just guessing. So I just wanted to see whether this figure particularly can be inserted into this bag, and yeah, as you can see here, good, he can. Looks stupid though, because the head is small for the body, but I suppose if we want to play imaginary I don't know, comic-y storyline where the Skrull actually shifts into the Thing, I guess you could possibly do it, but yeah, not my thing. So I'll put it back where it belongs. Fantastic snap and fantastic overall. So good stuff. I'm happy with it. I will try to explore the other figures and see how this stacks up, but as a for the Thing itself, I am very pleased with it. So with that, guys, I think I will conclude my review. This is probably the shortest review that I've ever done, simply because it's just only one figure. I was planning to get all the Fantastic Four team members in one video, but then I thought then I'll be running out of materials to speak about. I'm not gonna do, I'm not Shadimas or I'm not Whoosh where I can review every single character or one wave in one video. I have to space it out. So for the time being, what I will do is I will review this, which I've done. Obviously, I will review the Doctor Doom as a standalone figure. I think the three sort of human-like characters, the Fantastic, Mr. Fantastic, what do you call Susan Storm, and Human Torch, I will sort of pile them up together because they are okay, they are interesting, but I guess they don't need a video on their own when I get them, obviously. So I don't know, but other than that, we'll leave it at that. So with that, guys, I will finish off the video, and as always, if you like what you see and if you think I offer something different, please feel free to click the like button and subscribe to my videos. I am planning to be persistent, put out videos as much as I can, because the key to a YouTube success or become a shall we say a successful YouTuber is to put out videos out there every possible week that I can, and hopefully it will catch on. So stay safe, enjoy your weekend, guys, and I shall see ya when I see ya. Bye.